Hello and welcome everyone to New Moon 2021 Cycle 12, also known as Blood Moon number 3. So today I'm your host playerzero, and this is going to be the second Blood Moon stream we have for this cycle. And today's stream will mark the end of the round robin stage as we head into the bracket for next week. But before I get ahead of myself, let me explain what is Blood Moon and how it all works. So New Moon is our weekly round robin tournament series. What that means is it's a round robin, so everyone plays each other, and it happens throughout the week, which means people don't have to worry about the times they're available. They can just play their matches whenever, basically. And after 3 New Moon cycles, we have Blood Moon, which is where we are now. So New Moon is usually more relaxed, people trying new builds, things like that, whereas Blood Moon is the more competitive cycle. So Blood Moon is a multi-week cycle with a round robin stage that lasts for 2 weeks and the bracket stage. And by the end, the winner will receive the special Moon Master role, which stays until the next Blood Moon. So this stream is going to be the round robin, the second round robin stream, which afterwards, starting from Monday, we will start the top cut bracket, and hopefully next weekend we will have a stream, or maybe multiple streams depending on how things go, which by the end of next week, hopefully we will have the new or maybe returning Moon Master. We'll have to find out. Okay, so without further ado, going to be joining us on commentary is Symes and Neryth. Hello guys.
Looking forward to seeing some more great net battles today, so very excited for that.
Yeah, hello everyone, welcome to the stream, and excited to be here, excited to watch some great battles with you guys.
Alright, well, before we head into our first match for the day, it looks like we received a donation during the intro.
Yeah, so we received a $5 donation from WeenieWhistle saying, "Here's a cup of Cyber Joe for the stream. Keep the legendary net battles going." So thanks a lot to WeenieWhistle.
Yeah, thank you very much for the donation. And in case people don't know, so we have the Ko-Fi page set up if people want to support the community and the scene, and it will also give you a nice orange color in Discord. Alright, without further ado, take it off guys into our first match with Alrysc vs playerzero.
Yeah, so looking at Alrysc's folder here, we see this J-code Gregor setup with a Sensor 1, Boomer 1, and also the Destroy Pulse PA, along with a Kernel Force. So we also see the Mag Coil Reg, so that's a pretty interesting tech to see. You don't see a Mag Coil too often, but it can be a very useful chip for getting the setups you want.
Yeah, it's a really weird sensor slide setup on the left here from Alrysc. You don't really see it that often from Gregor because Valzar tends to have the superior built-in tools for it, such as Tengu Cross, so you can actually set up the slide with the back B. And it's a Cust 8 setup too, so you can see that Cust 2 and Cust 1 in their Navicust. So it's going to give them the maximum slots so that they can actually get all of the chips they need to perform the sensor slide. And it's also got that Dest Pulse, of course, in J-code. But yeah, there's a lot of chips in here devoted to setting up the sensor slide. And there isn't that much damage outside of it, especially considering it's only running those 3 mega chips, Erase Man, Element Man, and Judge Man. It isn't running any of the SP Navi chips for that extra damage, and it's missing those 2 extra mega slots. So definitely a little bit lower damage from chips anyways. Boomer, I feel like the Boomer in J-code is actually really nice just for that extra little bit of threat and setting up fire damage, but again, there's no big fire chips to combo it with, so it's just going to be for that extra bit of damage and getting rid of certain panels, replacing it with grass.
Yeah, the Boomer's definitely a nice splash to deal with Sanctuary and Gregor Mir threaten the other Electros, but as we see with playerzero's setup, he's a Falzer, so no Electros there to worry about. And we see this mostly G-code folder with, of course, the Neo variable and Meteor Knuckle and N-code. And we see this this bugged cust here with the Max Buster stats and also cust 8. But it does have cust bug level 1.
Yeah, so it is a Gregor versus Falzar matchup, so it's the opposing versions. And you've got the G-code chips. The reg static right off the bat is going to be pretty effective in a Falzar versus Gregor matchup because you can threaten your opponent's erase cross right off the start. Kind of takes it off the table for the first turn if they actually want to get to a second turn and have erase beast. But it doesn't look like Erase Cross is going to be a big part of Alrysc's strategy here, so that shouldn't be too impactful. But it also threatens Life Aura, so even if you pull a turn 1 Life Aura, you know that playerzero is going to have the tool to deal with it right off the bat, and isn't even going to have to go into Tengu to do it. The Bubble Star 3 is just a really nice chip, also for the D-Cross potential on Charge Cross early, so and Heat Dragon and Wood Dragon as well, a really solid combination. Really all of these chips are just really good with uninstall because it's kind of difficult to avoid them. And it also means that even if you dodge one of them, you don't even know, obviously, if the uninstall was attached to it. So you kind of have to be wary of that as long as one of those chips is still available and you haven't been hit by it yet.
Yeah, that definitely, if they're running Hub Batch, for instance, that would, you wouldn't be sure if he used the uninstall yet or not, so...
Yeah, and the Groundman SP coming out of playerzero is going to add a lot of extra damage there. Meteor Knuckle as well, so damage Giga. And then the 2 recovery 300s are probably going to end up getting used because playerzero's Navicust is an 1800 HP Falzar setup, so there's a lot of extra padding there to make sure that playerzero doesn't get deleted before being able to reach those recoveries. And I would say overall that playerzero has a lot of tools that help in dealing with Gregor crosses specifically. The Bubble Star, the Static. There's even a Tengu Man Star in this folder, so there's the potential to just get rid of Erase Cross or Life Aura very easily there.
Yeah, you usually see the Tengu Man Star actually used by Gregor, so it's pretty interesting to see it used in a Falzer folder. We also see he has a very heavy area control with 5 area grabs, so, and also quite a bit of defense with the barrier 200 and the 3 invisible and 3 anti-damage.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see whether or not Alrysc is going to be able to take playerzero down here with the sensor slide strategy, because playerzero is pretty resilient here with all these defenses. Does have the 2 recovery 300s to bounce back, and is going to have a higher starting HP at 1800. So Alrysc is going to have to make all of their chips count here.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Alrysc is able to land that sensor slide combo. And with that, I think we can head into the match.
Ooh, a turn 1 life aura from player 0. And both players dropping 2 area grabs right off the bat, canceling each other out. Player 0 fishing for those bugged buster procs. Rush getting safely dealt with by this life aura. Alrysc does have this wind rack in hand to deal with the life aura immediately. Anti-damage coming up for player 0. Ooh, and this sensor placement is going to restrict player 0's movement here. Ooh, Meteor Knuckle comes down, but gets stopped by Invis. But Alrysc does get locked to this one panel.
Ooh, and this Tengu Man will break that sensor.
Yeah, so player 0 isn't fenced in into these 3 panels anymore, thanks to the Tengu Man's specific attack pattern.
It looks like Alrysc is going for this. Ooh, slash. After seeing the M Knuckle come out, he's going for Slash Cross here. That will force the Tengu Cross to back off that front column.
Ooh, that conveyor panel actually placed player 0 back into that sensor.
And we see there player 0 got the static uninstall, so... But Alrysc didn't have any shoes anyways, so this uninstall isn't actually that bad for him.
Looks like a good move here, switching crosses up again into charge cross. Player 0 does still have Groundman SP, so you don't want to take a ×2 decrossed hit. So even though the Meteor Knuckle is gone, there is still a really heavy hitting Navi chip that could take down your Slash Cross. Lands into Grab Revenge coming out here, but the Grab Revenge does get blocked by anti-damage.
Ooh, and that anti-Navi will protect Alrysc's charge cross from that Element Man.
Judge Man comes down for the paralysis. Alrysc takes a charge shot as well. And player 0 uses an end of turn invis layered on top of this this barrier 200.
Yeah, and it looks like Alrysc is now going for that Q force.
Yeah, it is a bit of a problem that some of these panels are broken though, so Alrysc might lose a bit of damage if they aren't patient.
Yeah, and player 0 still has this barrier 200 up with 100 HP, and ooh, that Wood Dragon's gonna get a second hit in because of that Erase Man. Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of damage. Ooh.
Yeah, Alrysc really did not get a lot of damage from that Q force. I think it only got the 1 column worth of hits. And
Still 2 turns left at least.
Null Beast, that's interesting, especially against this Dust Cross Erase Beast. Actually could have been a very strong here.
Ooh, the Erase Man does not connect.
Yeah, that could have been a lot of damage that turn from beast charges. It looks like their Alrysc is going into a race now, and we also see they have that destroy pulse.
playerzero has already actually used a lot of their life aura answers, so I'm not sure if they have anything. And the erase tail does land, and the death pulse follow up.
Oh wow, and Alrysc just barely had time to get out that second erase tail arrow. This is actually very close now. There's only a 40 HP difference between the two players.
Yeah, I'm not sure if playerzero has used their recovery 300s yet, though.
I think he has actually, so. But the problem is playerzero still has access to. Oh wow, Alrysc, it looks like is considering a beast overplay here.
Ooh, and playerzero did not have any defense to answer that element man. So Alrysc takes the first turn with this sensor slide setup, despite not really setting up the sensor slide.
Yeah, that was a huge comeback from Alrysc there with it, on that erase beast destroy pulse turn.
Alrysc goes into charge cross, and playerzero goes into dust cross on his first turn. Ooh, and playerzero protects their dust cross from this erase man using a turn 1 life aura. Ooh, and playerzero uses Judge Man, gets this area back, and lands an extra charge shot as a result.
Yeah, fortunately, Alrysc does have the Wind Rack here to remove playerzero's life aura, and he also has his own life aura. Though unfortunately, with no shoes, we see his entire middle row is cracked, so that could actually be a big problem for him. He won't be able to. He'll end up being locked out of the middle row, and then playerzero will be safe just camping there for a while.
Yeah, sensor slide without chip shuffle or trash shoot or anything like that is kind of interesting, because you might end up with all of the pieces you need except for one, because you also need another chip to pull them back, or one to send them forward. Ooh,
oh no!
It's going to get rid of the life aura.
Yeah, that was extremely unfortunate timing from Alrysc there. Does at least
very nice
anti-damage to block this ground man.
Double damage element man fire onto this grass. Yeah, that was a really nice anti-damage TFC to stop that ground NSP from connecting, because it is 390 damage otherwise.
So Alrysc does get the Judge Man here to reclaim that front column of their area. And ooh, using the sensor against Dustcross is risky because player 0 could just consume the sensor. Ooh, in the corner, Meteor Knuckles.
Ooh, and we saw that Neo variable for a split second at the end of the turn there, so not sure if player 0 will be able to finish the input.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Alrysc's area has a lot of broken panels from that Meteor Knuckle, so he has Q-Force in hand, but won't be able to use it yet. And yeah, that's going to be it for the second round.
Yeah, player 0 takes it with that Bubble Star 3 into Erase Man Wind Rank combo right at the front, while Alrysc was locked into that one panel. So it's 1-1 now. Players are tied. So the winner of this this final set, or this final match, is going to take the set. And we're starting off with this grass and partial poison panel field.
And yeah, we're seeing there the problem with trying to use Sensor against Dustcross. You actually normally see Sensor slide with K code because instead of Sensor 1, it has Sensor 3. And it also lets you have 3 copies of Erase Man, so that gives you a lot more ways of dealing with Dustcross to prevent it from just consuming the sensors.
Ooh, Electcross getting clipped by that Wood Dragon right there, taking the ×2 decross. Ooh, player 0 takes the ×2 decross from Erase Man as well. The static misses. Not able to step forward because of that area grab from earlier.
Oh, wow. That was unfortunate for Alrysc there that he was in the same row as player 0, only getting 1 hit from the ground man. We actually already see a Q-Force here, but it looks like Alrysc is just opting to go for this Erase Cross play instead.
Ooh, an Element Man gets a lot of value here. Removing the life aura thanks to those grass panels.
Yeah, and that looked like that might have been an accidental TFC by Alrysc, losing their anti-damage just to the Bucks. And so now they don't have their anti-damage for this Meteor Knuckle.
Not too many hits from the Meteor Knuckle, but it does break those panels. So player 0 did pop an Invis, but thanks to the Erase Beam, the duration on it was overwritten. Oh wow. Player Zero just barely stepping out of the way of those damaging chips coming out from Alrysc. The Windrack Lance combo.
Ooh, and is Alrysc about to take a hit from this Tomahawk Beast charge?
Yeah, and the really risky part here is, yeah, so Alrysc just takes that first hit and pops Invis, and throws down Area Grab, as well as this Element Man to get rid of Tomahawk. Ooh, that is going to be a ×2 hit and a D-Cross.
Oh, but Alrysc has the Destroy Pulse. If this lands, this will do enough to put player Zero at 1 HP and paralyzed. So if this Destroy Pulse lands, this could be the game right here for Alrysc.
Yeah, and if player Zero has a defense they can mash out at the very start of the turn, they will be able to probably block the Destroy Pulse, so it's just going to be up to the chip sequence.
Oh
no!
Gets the step back. Oh wow. That is so unfortunate for Alrysc there, and that will be it.
Yeah, this Invis is not going to last until end of turn.
Wow, he had a very close match. Well played by both players. That was very unfortunate. That step back was a very clutch for player Zero.
Yeah, 2 times in a row. Also stepping back from that Windrack Lance combo. Even though player Zero did have an anti-damage up at the time, still managing to protect their defenses and to avoid a lot of the critical chips coming up from Alrysc. Yeah, well played again to Alrysc and player Zero, and thanks for this amazing set. And I think with that, we can head into the setups for our next set of the day, which should be Neryth for Master.
Yeah, so for a Neryth setup, we see this W code setup with the Get-Ons and Gundel Soul 3. Also on the 3 M-Boomers, Magnum, the Summon Blacks, and even the Bamboo Sword, so it's definitely a potential for some very fast deletions here with the Get-On Gundel Soul setup.
Yeah, the timing for the Gundel Soul 3 is actually that you have, I believe you have just enough time in a single normal gauge turn to squeeze out all 3 Gundel Soul 3s. So if you can lock them to a single column of panels, then they're going to take, I believe, 1,440 damage. But at the same time, that's also dependent on them not having anything to interrupt any of the Gundel Souls, and them not having air shoes as well.
Yeah, and looking at a Masters folder, we see this S code with a chip shuffle, which is pretty interesting. You don't normally see a chip shuffle, especially for Falzer, because Falzer just has access to the Dust Chute, so I do like the S code, though. We see it's a very strong code for Spout Cross, as we can see with the Train Arrow 3, Bubble Star 3, and Ice Dragon. And we also see the Flash Bomb 3 along with a Risky Honey and Bamboo Sword, so And of course the slash man SP, which if it hits a Tengu cross will be devastating. They also have a hub. They also have hub batch, so you'll want to get that get on Gundel Soul before they can pop hub.
Yeah, there's a really good mixture of elements in S code there. And even though a lot of it is Aqua, so it's obviously going to be a spout cross ×2 charge setup, there's enough splash from other elements that it is going to be interesting to see, because the bamboo swords as well could be used for that ×2 onto Tengu. And the wood element from Risky Honey and Bamboo Sword obviously isn't going to make a difference in the Falzar versus Falzar mirror matchup, but those are also very good against the Gregar's Elect Cross. And so I felt like when I was looking at it, I wasn't sure. Obviously, my own setup doesn't really have much in the way of defense, so all of these ×2 Aqua chips are actually going to be pretty lethal, especially if there's setup for it and Ice Seeds come down into basically freeze combos. And then the Slashman SP was also pretty worrisome because of the fact that I want to play around Tengu Cross.
Yeah, the problem for Master is all of that will get blocked by a Gadon, so Master will have to be very careful about playing around those Gadons when they go for the ice setups and also that Slashman.
Yeah, and the problem with a chip shuffle setup is generally that it is lower HP. And you can see Master does only have 1350, although that's only 50 less than the Falzar setup that I'm running, so actually not a huge HP difference at all here. But yeah, it should be interesting to see this chip shuffle setup in action, and I think with that we can head into the match.
Ooh, and so no Gadon on the first turn.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Master is running Hub Batch, so I really want to get a Get in Gundel Soul in before the Hub Batch gets popped. Otherwise, my only other option would be to get total area control.
Yeah, and looking at Master's folder, they actually only have the 2 area grabs, so that is possible. And they only have the 1 grab banish, so...
A really quick first turn there, thanks to the Reicht full cost in Master's folder.
And there's all 3 Gundel Souls, but unfortunately still no Gadon.
Yeah, there was the possibility of going for a Magnum setup to lock Master into that position for the Gundel Souls, but I was thinking, yeah, there it is, the Beast. To get air shoes and escape from that position.
Okay, and it looks like you're deciding to just dust shoot those 3 Gundel souls with Master and Beast out. Master doesn't really seem to have any cursor chips outside of Erase Man, so it could be fairly safe to keep dust and be able to cycle through the folder.
Yeah, those Gundel Soul 3s are really just clogging up the folder at this point because they've got these turns of Beast coming up. And then there's probability that they'll just pull their hub batch with their chip shuffle in that time, so it isn't really worth gambling to keep the Gundel Souls in hand.
We see the spout now come out from Master here. So we could be seeing those bubble star train arrow combos. Oh wow, and that was a lot of damage coming out there.
And that Aqua Dragon actually stopped me from accessing the broken panel there.
Yeah, thanks to the shoes from your Tengu Cross. Ooh, but going for the panel lock, the column lock here with Tomahawk Cross and these 2 M-Boomers. So if these 2 Tomahawk charged M-Boomers land, this would actually be enough damage for the round here. But we'll see if Master has anything to deal with that. Ooh, that was a very unfortunate TFC. Oh, that was bad. Oh wow, down to 3 HP. If Master was only able to land a few more of those buster shots, they could have taken it.
Yeah, that was an insanely close first round there. So normally there's potential for a turn 1 Gundel Soul setup, even without Geddon using the Magnums and maybe Tengu. Ooh, and Master squeezes in this Erase Cross. Or yeah, the Erase Man, and takes out the Dust Cross.
Oh wow, and you don't see that too often. You see the Spout Man outside of the back 2 columns. So instead of using the hose, he just fires that one little shot.
Yeah, it does crack the panel that it lands on.
And so here we see going for the Gundel Soul setup with the Magnum here, along with this Tomahawk charged boomer. Ooh, but we already see the hub come out from Master along with a full cost. So Master now has air shoes for the rest of this round since Neryth has no uninstall. So we'll not be able to get any of those Gundel Soul setups with holes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there was the possibility of knocking off the Tengu Cross with a Tomahawk swing. But now, even without the Tengu Cross, Master will have air shoes.
Ooh, and so that looks like that was another trap from Master there. That must be the anti-Navi. Ooh, and we do see this Element Man SP, which could do a lot of damage to the Tomahawk Cross, but unfortunately has no cursors to remove that anti-Navi. Oh, wow. Oh no, getting hit by the fully charged train arrow.
Yeah, it looks really easy to dodge, but life comes at you fast.
And so we'll see what happens here in this third round. The ice panel field is also good for Master here. Ooh, and that was an unfortunate TFC losing their trap. And also now getting hit by one of those ice cubes. Ooh, but they do get the Erase Man TFC on your life aura. And the Slash Man to break the life aura. So it looks like Neryth is going for this slow gauge Tomahawk Cross turn. It looks like he's also considering going for the column lock Gundel Soul here with that area grab, but yeah, there it is. So Master does get the full cust out. We'll see if Neryth, yeah, it looks like Neryth is keeping his chips from the last turn. Ooh, going for a beast out here with the get on another M Boomer. The Summon Black, and of course Gundel Soul, and no cross cancel from Master. Oh wow, and takes 2 hits from that M-Boomer and then gets finished off by the Summon Black. So a very fast first round there.
Yeah, well played to Master.
Yeah, that was a fun set to watch with how close that first round was. And we did see a Master get the train arrow to land in the second round. So well played by both players.
Yeah, and with that, I think we can go into the setups for our next set of the day, which should be WeenieWhistle versus Ghiaccio.
Yeah, so on WeenieWhistle's side, we see this V-Code Gregor setup. This will actually be our first Gregor mirror of the day. So we see V-Code Gregor against this G-Code Gregor. So for WeenieWhistle, we see the Super Vulcan White Capsule attack plus 30. Along with the Bubble Star 2 and Electragon combo. And we also see a Risky Honey and High Boomer. And then from Ghiaccio, we see the Heat Dragon, Wood Dragon, Machine Gun 2, Flash Bomb 2. Of course, the Uninstall and Groundman. Both players also have Sanctuary in their folders, and of course the Q-Force.
Yeah, it is a mirror matchup, both in versions and in Navicusts. This is the fairly standard Air Shoes Buster Gregor setup. So it does have 1500 HP, which is a pretty decent amount, and then it's got the Attack Max, Charge Max, and then Rush, Undershirt, Super Armor, basically just off the necessities. And like you mentioned, WeenieWhistle is packing that the Super Vulcan with the White Capsule attack plus 30. So in Beast, that is going to be 800 damage potentially. While on Ghiaccio's side, we see the Heat Dragon, Wood Dragon combos. So because it is Gregor, the Wood Dragon's not going to be able to charge them for that times 2 damage, but there's still the Grass Fire combination there to get that double damage. And actually, if you think about it, using those Heat Dragons in Heat Cross does actually give you a really big boost as well, especially on Grass. So, but you don't really see that too much. The Groundman SP is in code for G code, so there's that threat to kind of restrain WeenieWhistle / Cross. You don't want to take a ×2 Groundman SP. That is just way too much damage. 780 damage actually.
And what? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, because it is a Gregar versus Gregar matchup, and you see both players running Kernel Force, it is going to be a bit of a race to that Kernel Force, because you can probably take your opponent down with just your average Kernel Force combo plus a bit of your Buster, your charge shot damage. So
yeah, the one thing I've noticed is actually neither player has very much area. Only 3 area grabs for WeenieWhistle and only 2 for Ghiaccio. So usually with Gregor you see 4 or 5. So it'll be interesting to see how they're able to play around the low amount of area grabs.
yeah, that is very interesting that both players have, only a few area grabs compared to what you would normally see in Gregar. And this is going to be probably a slow gauge match, because you can see the slow gauge coming out from the 2 slow gauges coming out from WeenieWhistle. There's no reg, but with 2 slow gauges in the folder, odds are they're going to come up sooner than later. And no gauges on Ghiaccio's side, so once the slow gauge drops, it is just going to be a Buster death match.
Yeah, so I think with that we can head into the match. Ooh, and so we already see the Super Vulcan, an attack plus 30, but unfortunately no white pill yet. And this blast man is just for dealing with Tomahawk Cross. So it looks like WeenieWhistle's just bringing it here on turn 1 against Gregor. Oh wow, and the immediate Wood Dragon to decross WeenieWhistle's elect.
Yeah, and a bit of a wasted life aura as well. Protected from that element man fire on grass, but usually you wanted to get more value than that. And so WeenieWhistle on the back foot right off the bat.
And we also have the turn 1 permahole field, but fortunately both players have air shoes, so it won't be quite as bad with the air shoes.
Yeah, and it looks like WeenieWhistle is going to try to take advantage of that with Charge Cross. Ooh, Erase Man connecting into this Windrack area grab.
Yeah, since WeenieWhistle's life aura is already gone, Ghiaccio feels free to just use their Windrack. Ooh, but taking 2 hits from that Boomer into the Bubble Star charge tackle.
Yeah, WeenieWhistle definitely trading back here. Still 500 HP, or closer to 450 HP down, but Ghiaccio is actually in range of a kill from Kernel Force, potentially, if it were to come up. Ooh, and there's the Super Vulcan combination right there.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Ghiaccio has any defense for that, but if Ghiaccio doesn't have any defense here, this could be the game. Alternatively, if they have their own Kernel Force here, this could be the round for them. Ooh, and we do see the Beast Out come out.
Ooh, and there's the combination right there.
Ooh, and so we see the flash bomb come out from Ghiaccio there.
Oh, and that was an uninstall attached to Heat Dragon. So WeenieWhistle no longer has air shoes, and that's actually going to stop the charge tackles from connecting here.
Yeah, but unfortunately for Ghiaccio, they don't have any get-ons or anything to really capitalize on that uninstall.
Yeah, one option available to them would be to use Elec Beast to crack the panels, but don't think it's a huge priority if you can just brute force your opponent down. Ooh, and the Risky Honey misses. But the Groundman SP from Ghiaccio also gets blocked by this anti-damage. So WeenieWhistle managing to stay healthy here.
Ooh, and so WeenieWhistle is deciding to not to use that slow gauge here. They're just opting to throw it away.
Yeah, that might be the better option here. Ooh, Sanctuary and Life Aura coming down, so this is going to be a defensive turn. But because Ghiaccio is in Erase Beast, even with just the star-coded chips, chances are the Erase Tail comes out. But it looks like only that one Erase Tail. Because it isn't slow gauge, even if Ghiaccio had more chips ready, they probably would only be able to squeeze in that one or two Erase Tails, and it would be on Holy Panels as well. WeenieWhistle has the answer to the Life Aura here in the form of this Windwrack. But also has that Elec Dragon.
Yeah, it looks like they want to save the Windwrack to go for the D-Cross on Erase. Ooh, but gets hit by the Wood Dragon instantly again.
Oh, wow, but it's a ×2 Elec Dragon, so it does get the damage to destroy the Life Aura anyways, and it pops the anti-damage at the same time. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough time for WeenieWhistle to squeeze in the Windwrack as well.
Yeah, it looks like WeenieWhistle might be considering going for a Slash Cross here with that plus area and Life Aura. Yeah, there it is. So this could be a lot of damage this turn if Ghiaccio doesn't have a answer to the Slash Cross. Ooh, and blocks the Erase Tail arrow with the Holy Aura. Oh boy, but there's the Super Vulcan combo from WeenieWhistle again.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Ghiaccio has a way of dealing with WeenieWhistle's Life Aura here. Oh boy, and there's a Q-Force, but will WeenieWhistle hold on to the Super Vulcan instead?
Yeah, if the Super Vulcan does connect, then that would be the end of the game. At 800 damage, Ghiaccio only has 800 HP. Ooh, but this Sanctuary is going to prevent that from becoming a lethal attack. Yeah, having the damage to 400. Let's keep Ghiaccio in it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, WeenieWhistle no longer has access to Elec, and but they do have this high boomer, which will remove almost that entire sanctuary.
Oh, and the multi-hit as well from the boomer.
Oh, that must have been a mistake. That Element Man freeze.
Yeah, well played to WeenieWhistle and Ghiaccio there. A very interesting Gregar versus Gregar matchup there of very different folders.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seemed like Ghiaccio just wasn't able to get enough of their own damage out to outpace the DPS we saw coming out from WeenieWhistle there. And so our next match will be Desmond against HonorNite.
Yeah, so we're seeing another V-code Gregar here, but this time with T-code SP Navis. And no Sanctuary, interestingly enough. And on the right side, we have HonorNite, so it is Gregar versus Falzar. And HonorNite running the standard Falzar Navi cust, which is the 1400 HP plus 3 cust with the rush and beat. So you've got both of these PvP Navi cust programs. And it's an attack 4 with charge max, so you're not getting an attack max, but it's close enough that your charge shots are still going to be pretty hefty. And it is a G-code setup here, with the Heat Dragon and 2 Wood Dragons, mainly just to pair up with this uninstall here. And of course the Grandman SP is in code. And then it looks like there's this Element Man SP as well as Splash, which gives you extra Sanctuary removal and a really good ×2 hit on a lot of your targets. If you can line up for an Element Grass, Element Wood Element, it would be 480 if it connects on Elect Cross. If you can get right up to your opponent and they're in Charge Cross, that would also be 480 damage if you can get the Ice. So a really heavy hitting SP Navi chip right there, with a lot of flexibility as well. Groundman SP and the Meteor Knuckle both are really big threats for Slash Cross to deal with. You really don't want to take either of those chips while you're in Slash Cross. And then there's a little bit of W code in there as well, with the double Magnum and a Barrier 200. So it's pretty interesting there, opting to take this Barrier 200 and W code instead of U code, where you'd pair it up with Life Aura. But it kind of makes sense because it's not very often that you would take a Barrier 200 and Life Aura in the same turn. And then on the left side, we see Desmond here, who has the same Super Vulcan setup in V code, and it's not a full double point boost either. So obviously it does 600 damage less without the double point, but still really, really solid here. And seeing as it's V code, we are going to see the pretty standard Bubble Star into Elect Dragon combos that are going to probably do either 300 damage with the Elect Dragon hitting a bubbled opponent, or 400 damage if they're in Elect Cross. But also interestingly enough, there is the Wood Dragon in there as well, and which is just a good flex for taking out your opponent's Elect Cross, but that won't be relevant in this matchup because it is opposing versions.
Yeah, it is also useful if they have a Sanctuary for removing some of their holy panels, but
yeah, that is true as well. And this is a single slow gauge, a ragged slow gauge on Desmond's part, and but you have to keep in mind Desmond is up against HonorNite, who's running 2 fast gauges. So HonorNite will basically be able to dictate the pace of this match and decide which gauge it's played in, having one more fast gauge than their opponent has a slow gauge. And I think that just about covers it. So unless you have anything to say about this matchup?
No, I think we can get right into the match. Oh yeah, and in chat, the other thing is this is a sock puppet mirror match. So we'll see which sock puppet can reign supreme.
Oh yeah, I'm Asuka in Twitch chat to say the sock puppet match. And it's because both of their Discord display pictures are sock puppets. So this is a grass and partial poison field. HonorNite's beat comes down and takes away the Erase Man from Desmond. But Desmond's rush gets popped fairly early into this round, letting Desmond line up that 1 charge tackle. Ooh,
oh wow,
and 2.
Yeah, if that Element Man freeze landed, that would have been 400 damage, so...
Yeah, Desmond being prepared there with that anti-damage to block that ×2 Element Man.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, so much damage can come out from the V-code combo so fast that the fast gauge might actually not be ideal for HonorNite here. If it comes down to a damage judge situation, it could actually be good for Desmond, depending on how much he's able to get from the V-code combos.
Yeah, V-code's damage is definitely pretty volatile, but if I were HonorNite, I wouldn't be too scared of dropping fast gauge, just because it's not too likely that it will actually go to a damage judge, especially with Desmond not having Sanctuary. That's a lot of the potential damage mitigation not really up. Ooh, and both players have a life aura answer this turn, so we're probably about to see that. HonorNite not able to secure the full area lock. Desmond has this 1 panel to work with, which will be instrumental in preventing a lot of this wind rack damage or the Tengu rack damage from coming out. Ooh, Judge Man comes out and gets this area back for Desmond.
And lets the anti-damage hit him to get the confirmed D-cross on HonorNite's Tengu. We could be seeing HonorNite go for Spout Cross this turn to try and get the D-cross on Desmond's charge. Oh, entrance.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, going into Heat Cross here is interesting. Just going from charge to heat. Ooh, and we see the Tomahawk cross coming out. Oh wow, and dragons coming out on both sides. And that looked like a counter hit, a heat dragon into the ground, man.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I think without that counter hit, that Groundman SP wouldn't have been usable there because of the blinking. But because of the counter hit connecting, Desmond was left paralyzed, which allowed that Groundman SP to connect as well. So both players down to about 500 HP. HonorNite a little bit closer to 600, but both players at roughly the same HP here. Erase Man connects for HonorNite here.
Ooh, it looks like Desmond is uninstalled.
Ooh, and HonorNite closes it out with the P shots from that Buster. Yeah, it looks like HonorNite intentionally targeted that back column of panels with Magnum to block Desmond forward and get those Tomahawk charge shots.
Yeah, that's just showcasing the utility that Magnum has.
Early fast gauge drop from HonorNite here. And those Guardians as well, quickly becoming fodder for this Dust Cross. So potentially 200 damage going to be thrown out. Ooh, Erase Man is gonna get rid of the anti-damage.
Oh wow, and misses with both of the Guardian shots.
Ooh, and this Wood Dragon takes down the barrier 200 right as Rush gets popped. And that actually lets Desmond line up this Erase Man or Erase Cross to get rid of Dust Cross.
Ooh, and we see the Heat Dragon come out. And so, yeah, this Heat Dragon probably would have been a counter hit. So it looks like Desmond is deciding to cross cancel again into Heat.
Ooh, and this Life Aura is going to lock Desmond out of being able to connect with anything this turn. Ooh, and Desmond forces this turn into slow gauge here.
Oh wow, and we see the Knuckle come out and do a lot of damage. Fortunately for Desmond, he hasn't been uninstalled yet, but...
Ooh, and yeah,
Desmond never used that fire burn.
Yeah, and unfortunately it has the same range as the Heat Cross charge shot. And so because he's in Heat Cross, HonorNite knows to stay away from that specific range, that 3 panels forward. So just dancing right outside of that range and avoiding potential decross.
Oh no! He accidentally threw away his element man. That would have been the decross.
Yeah, so there's some very unfortunate mashing there. Desmond was mashing to try and secure the element fire specifically, but HonorNite countered with an area grab, which led to Desmond's mashing translating into tossing the element man away and immediately using their own area grab.
Yeah, I'm not sure who is the host for this match, but that could have had some effect on some of these inputs on both sides. Ooh, but that Q force is a lot of damage. Okay, Desmond said in chat that he's hosting.
Yeah, that was a classic Colonel Force finish right there.
Yeah, that was an attack plus 30 on the Q force, so that's a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, I believe with the attack plus 30, it would have been 810 damage before the wind rack and then the buster. So easily enough damage to take someone down who's at about 1000 HP. Ooh, and both players gonna trade this erase man into each other, so they're both gonna end up paralyzed here. Oh wow, and HonorNite actually timing that Tengu rack to send Desmond into the geyser panel, so taking that little bit of extra damage.
Yeah, and I think Desmond also stepped up at the perfect timing too, so unfortunately even got a second hit from the volcano panels.
Ooh, and that's a Tengu lock. ×2 anti-damage coming out though. That could be potentially pretty big damage if Desmond can get through these defenses before the anti-damage pops.
Yeah, and unfortunately Desmond doesn't have any way of reclaiming their area here either.
Oh no, and it's maximum damage Meteor Knuckle.
Looking at Desmond's setup, he doesn't have any grab revenge or grab banish, so
Ooh. But his life aura is only going to buy a moment. And HonorNite closes it out with that really quick final game there. Just a really solid offense, including that maximum damage Meteor Knuckle.
Yeah, definitely well played to both players, but that third round without having any grab revenge, there was just nothing Desmond could have done, really.
Yeah, and I personally don't run grab revenge or banish that often, but that's one of the risks you have to put up with if you choose not to use those chips. Getting locked into the back with against Tengu is really brutal. But yeah, well played to Desmond and HonorNite there. And with that, I think we can head into the setups for our next set of the day, which I think is Wazi versus fireboltbro.
Yeah, so this is another Gregor mirror. On Wazi's side, we see another chip shuffle setup with the Q force and kind of a soupy folder, which is what you would expect to see with chip shuffle. We see the Life Aura, Sanctuary, Elect Dragon, and L with uninstall, the recovs, and also a Gundel Soul for the Gundel Force setup. And for fireboltbro, we see the Chonk Gregor setup, but with no Sanctuary and no Holy Panels or even a panel return, so no way of dealing with holes at all.
Yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what happens here between this Gregor mirror matchup, especially with that chip shuffle in play. Wazi is running that potential turn 1 kernel force setup, and on fireboltbro's side, it is this B code. B code Gregor is pretty interesting, but it is a double hero setup, so. We'll see exactly how much damage can come out of all of these chips to take Wazi down and try to capitalize on this HP difference.
Yeah, we could see fireboltbro does have 2 PAs. They have the double hero and twin leaders, so it'll be interesting to see if either of those come out.
Ooh, yeah, I actually forgot about that one. So the 2 PAs, we'll see which one fireboltbro chooses to use. And as it is Chunk Gregor, there's always the option of just leaning into all the crosses and the cross beasts and trying to squeeze out a ton of damage that way. And of course, fireboltbro is running 5 area grabs as well. I think the big issue here is that there is no slow gauge. So if Wazi chooses not to pop their slow gauge, fireboltbro might not have as much time to really capitalize on each cross and guarantee that they're damage. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Wazi decides to use their gauges. And I think with that, unless you have anything else you want to add, we can head into the match.
No, I think that's it. Let's head into the match. Both players tossing out a little bit of utility and defense right off the bat. Invis coming down for fireboltbro, and the Sanctuary and that Buster Up coming down for Wazi. And it looks like Wazi is eyeing this Elect Dragon uninstall combo, as well as these 2 area grabs to try to prevent fireboltbro from being able to dodge it. Ooh, and yeah, this is going to be a slash cross turn. area grabs cancel each other out, so Wazi does not have the option of stepping forward to get these slash cross charge shots, but the Elect Dragon does connect and with it to uninstall.
Yeah, and so Wazi also does have panel bug from their float shoes, so they're gonna want to definitely try and pull their bug fix here to not break their own sanctuary, and unfortunately they don't get it this turn.
fireboltbro probably going to want to reach for High Boomer or Element Man to deal with these holy panels regardless. Wazi does get this Judge Man SP connect, as well as the Buster Up anti-damage, and then 2 Element Man as well, but it misses, does not get the freeze.
Yeah, so they've now broken 3 of their own holy panels, but ooh, they get turned into grass anyways by the High Boomer. Ooh, and so now we see Cust Bug starting to take effect. Wazi is down to just 5 chips now instead of 6. So, but... oh wow, and that was very lucky. They held 3 chips, but Bug Fix does show up, and the 2 chips they pull, so that will fix that Cust Bug.
Yeah, that was a very worrisome chip shuffle right there. Only shuffling with 2 chips there to try to reach for that bug fix, but ended up pulling it and uses it right at the start of this turn. Thank You Man is going to pop this anti-damage. Oh wow, and gets 3 hits with that machine gun as well. fireboltbro trying to put on some pressure with slash cross in this +1 area. Also getting access to that leftover holy panel from the sanctuary. If Wazi connects with this combination, it might be the end of this match. Or I think Wazi might be short just a little bit of damage here. Yeah, so Kernel Force comes out from Wazi, pretty significantly boosted as well, but only with those 2 columns of panels thanks to fireboltbro's own area grab, canceling Wazi's.
Yeah, and it looks like Wazi might be going for Elect Beast charges now to finish out this round. We'll see if they're able to get it. Ooh, that was an unfortunate TFC on the Grab Revenge. If they had waited to use it after, it would have... oh, well, they had a Race Man anyways.
Yeah, followed by this Gundel Soul 3. Wazi does take this first game.
Yeah, fireboltbro unfortunately wasn't able to mash out of that paralysis in time.
Ooh, so Wazi's area grab just got 3 framed there. Ooh. Machine guns being traded back and forth, and even though fireboltbro's machine gun 3s within this erase cross are doing a lot more damage, Wazi's had an uninstall attached to it, so did manage to get fireboltbro's super armor that way.
Yeah, but Wazi has actually already lost a lot of their HP from these erase boosted machine guns. Yeah, Wazi's already at a major HP deficit this round. But of course, with the attack plus 30 Q force in Gundel Soul, they can definitely bring this back, and they still have their recovs as well.
Yeah, so Blue Mage 10 in YouTube chat asks 3-framed. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, so when you use your chip, there's a 3-frame window before the chip like actually activates. And so during this window, like if they like use one of their chips during this window, like you'll lose your chip, but like it will activate right after their chip unless you get like stunned or flinched. So if you don't have super armor or you get 3-framed by an erase man, you can actually lose your chip, but since it was just an area grab there, it was fine. Oh boy, and here's the full Q force combo. This could actually be the game right here. Wow, and they get their bug fixed too. But yeah, not even going for it. They don't need it.
Ooh.
Oh, but...
Oh!
Wow!
That volcano panel actually popped the anti-damage, which took Wazi down to 1 HP. I did not expect to see that ending specifically.
Yeah, that was a crazy round. And just, wow, Wazi really needed to step back there. Just taking all that damage from that machine gun 3.
Yeah, and Erase Cross boosted machine gun 3 at that, but
we already see their Q force here, so it looks like they're not going for it though without any wind racks.
yeah, so it looks like Wazi wants to take down that anti-damage and secure the rest of this area, as well as wanting to connect to this uninstall. So let's see what happens here.
And so both players just trading charge shots here. Oh boy, and here's the Q, attack plus 30 Q force. And yeah, it looks like Wazi might go for it with the full area. This would be the game right here. Ooh, that was an unfortunate invis TFC on the grab banish.
Very nice. Wazi managing to step back from the Element Man, not taking Element Freeze, which might have resulted in a lot more HP loss.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, and there's
wow.
both recovs right when Wazi needs them.
Yeah, even with both recovs, Wazi, that plus 600 HP actually not enough to counteract that kernel force.
Yeah, that was definitely a crazy match, especially the ending of that second round.
Yeah, definitely some very interesting battles right here. And well played to Wazi and fireboltbro.
Yeah, so with that, we have our next match, which is DrugsAreBad versus Desmond. Or wait, no, it's Master versus DrugsAreBad. Sorry about that. So we've already seen Master's setup earlier. This is our first time seeing DrugsAreBad today. And so Dab has this H code set up with the Aqua Dragons and Golem hit 3 going for the freeze break combos.
Yeah, the freeze break combos are they can be very difficult to execute, but the damage is pretty considerable. The main issue with the H code is just the lack of another reliable damage source, so it can end up struggling a bit against higher HP opponents.
Yeah, they do have the hub batch along with 4 area grabs, so that would give Dab attack max, so they could pressure with Tomahawk and Tengu Cross, as well as charge shots from Spout Cross.
Yeah, definitely there's the option of leaning on the hub batch attack in order to squeeze out extra damage. And on Master side, we've already seen it, the S-Code chip shuffle setup. Pretty Spout Cross dependent, but a lot of those ×2 charges are pretty lethal if they connect. So it's going to be interesting to see which setup ends up winning out here.
Yeah, the S code versus the H code should be interesting to watch.
Yeah, and Dab does have this Meg Folder 1 in their Navicast, so they are packing extra Mega Chip as a result, while Master actually decided not to pack a full 5, so it's 4 Mega Chips versus 6.
Yeah, I think with that we can get into the match.
Yeah, let's hop right into it. So both players are running 2 Invis, 2 anti-damage, so not the full array of defenses. That might hurt Master a little bit more than Dab, because Dab is running Rush. So one of those Invis is going to get eaten by Rush here.
Oh, and just a little freeze there. Okay, and it's back. And so Master will likely shuffle for a wind track here to remove that life aura. Who unfortunately don't get it. So going for Tengu Cross here.
Yeah, going for Tengu Cross here isn't a huge loss. There isn't a huge reason to hold on to Tengu Cross. So now that the life aura has come out turn 1, you can kind of just safely get rid of it with Tengu Cross.
Oh wow, and that anti-damage will get a 3 frames by the Erase Man. And unfortunately, since that has the stun, they won't be able to use the anti-damage after. But now they use their own erasement to decross Dab's dust.
Yeah, Master putting out some pretty solid damage there. About 500 damage coming out and taking Dab down to roughly the same HP, 1200 for both players here. A batch getting dropped on Master here.
Ooh, and so Dab should now be able to know that Master doesn't have anti-damage up since that area grab didn't remove the trap.
Yeah, and it looks like Master's gonna try to remove Dab's anti-damage here with this grab banish. Also secures the full forward area into the anti-damage. Ooh, but Dab is answering with their own combo here.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage coming out from both sides there, but Dab did get that ×2 Aqua Dragon into the Golem hit 3 there, which did over 500 damage. I think in total it would have been 740 damage there coming out, so that leaves Master with a pretty low amount of HP.
Both players throwing up their defense here, but Masters gets immediately stripped by a machine gun.
Oh no!
Ooh. This Stoutcross's chip recovery from
I would go for
really helping.
Yeah, there's plus 50 HP there, which allowed Master to get another undershirt, but I would go for a beast over here probably. But we'll see if going for the Tomahawk cross pays off.
Oh, this is going to leave Dab with 1 HP.
And the bees finish it off.
Wow, a really volatile matchup here. Both players throwing out really huge combos. We're seeing those freeze train arrow combos and the charged Aqua Dragons coming out from Master, as well as a full freeze break combos coming out from Dab. So both of them just taking the full brunt of each other's combos. Dab going to Dust Cross to suck up these rock cubes turn 1. But starting off of this blind, or actually not starting off, I think that was from the flash bomb right there. It does stop Dab from lining up those rock cubes. Ooh, very unfortunately timed invis right there. it actually allowed Master to secure this the full ice seed. So now both panels, or both fields, both sides of the field, I should say, are fully encased in ice. So this has basically become one huge skating rink.
Yeah, and it looks like Master's now going for the spout cross combo with the train arrow. Ooh, and unfortunately, Dab stepped into the back, so they take the max amount of hits from that train arrow. And also this Heat Man SP will be blocked by the anti-damage.
Yeah, so it looks like about a 600 HP difference, but you can't count Dab out yet, especially with this current field. And Master, having already gone into Tomahawk earlier, no longer has Status Guard available, and that does mean Dab has access to those freeze break combos. And this looks like Master's going to start off with the hub batch, but gets their anti-damage pop by this area grab. Ooh, both players using hub batch this turn, and Master not able to line up for the erase cross, or the erase man to try to decross Dab's dust cross. Master using full cuss to go straight into this next turn.
Yeah, and the other thing is Master has now lost their spout cross. So that means no more ×2 charges on all those bubble stars or aqua dragons.
Bit of a premature usage on that Bubble Star 3 right there. Maybe could have been sequenced a bit better with the Elect Pulse first, but now Dab lands that full freeze combo.
Yeah, the Wind Rack into the Lance, back into the Ice Dragon, and into the Golem head there.
Master does buy themselves a bit of time and puts a little bit of pressure on Dab with that little freeze at the end with that train arrow.
Yeah, and with this Slash Man SP, if that connects while Dab is still in Tengu, that would put them down to a 1 HP.
Ooh. Again, we're seeing that Wind Rack Lance combo into a deletion there, so Dab takes that second game.
Yeah, I think when they used that Blast Man, that Buster Shot must have already been coming out, because normally that Blast Man would have left them blinking.
Yeah, that was a pretty weird interaction. playerzero in Twitch chat does say it's because of the drag, and yeah, I guess that makes sense. Do a turn 1 beast from Master here.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Accidentally just yeets their flash bomb right off the end of the field.
Yeah, whenever that happens, I imagine it just falls onto the path of like a poor normal Navi or someone walking around right below, and then they just have their day ruined.
Yeah, just see an object just land on you from out of nowhere. So we'll see if Master's able to get this. Ooh, they do. They get the ×2 bamboo sword.
Yeah, really hefty 300 damage hit right there. Bamboo sword is a pretty solid chip.
Oh wow, and they have another one here, which...
Ooh, and so they're gonna get this, looks like they're just gonna focus on this one turn of Aqua Cross with the Beast.
Yeah, I'm still really not sure if I agree with this, because now they won't have access to Spout Cross for the rest of the game with all their Aqua Jabs.
Ooh, they just managed to avoid that Element Man Elec.
Oh wow, and they had lost their bamboo sword. That got cancelled by the beast out ending. They did get a lot of damage from it though. Dab is now down to under 400 HP already.
Yeah, I feel like Dab's play that turn was pretty interesting in the way they were trying to avoid the freeze and trying to minimize the damage taken, but they still ended up taking just so much damage from those combos. Ooh. Oh, very nice. Dab managing to protect themselves from this Element Man Fire, managing to protect their Tomahawk Cross, which is going to be very important in preventing these statuses.
Oh wow, and if this anti-sword connects, yeah, it looks like Dab might have recognized that was an anti-sword, so they weren't going for the charge shot there, because that actually would have finished off the game.
Ooh, this is going to bring Dab down to 1 HP.
Oh, but they're locked out of the center row. Ooh, and it looks like they might be going for a beast over to finish the game, but I think Dab still has their recover 300s. Going for a beast over here is very risky.
Yeah, Master does still have a decent chunk of damage left, so if Dab doesn't pull both recovery 300s here, Master might be able to close it out anyways.
Oh, the life aura. They had the wind rack to close it out, so Master takes a 2-1.
Yeah, well played to Master and Dab right there. You got to see some really solid combos and some exciting play from the freeze breaks as well as the aqua combos.
Yeah, that was definitely a very explosive match to watch, with some of the train arrow combos coming out, as well as the freeze break golem hits. But that will actually be it for me today. I'm glad I got to see some of those hype battles. There's still a few more to come.
Yeah, thanks for casting with me, Symes, and thanks for being with us here today. And I'm glad we got to see some pretty exciting matches together.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to join the stream, but that'll be it for me today. So bye. And I'll have to catch the rest of these battles later.
All right, yeah, have a great day, Symes, and thanks again. And with that, I think we have playerzero stepping up to join me for the rest of the commentary today.
Hello, everyone. And again, as mentioned before, thank you, Neryth, for the commentary. That was a blast to watch through.
Yeah, definitely some really exciting matches.
All right, and with that, let's head into the setups for our next match with WeenieWhistle vs Symes.
Yeah, so WeenieWhistle running this the V-Code Gregor setup. In fact, both players running Gregor. Chonk Gregor coming out from Symes here, so with the Buster stats and the 2200 HP start. And actually kind of interesting setup here. It is a triple Element Man setup. So Element Man Star, Element Man EX, and Element Man SP coming from Symes. So there's a lot of options there. Element Man, an extremely versatile chip, extremely powerful. You can remove Sanctuary with it, you get rid of Holy Panels, you can freeze your opponent, you can convert everything into grass to combo with fire. You can target and break panels with the Elec option. And you can also take down your opponent's Tomahawk Cross or get the double damage on grass with Element Man Fire. So really, really solid option in Element Man. So having 3 copies of it, thanks to having 1 copy of each version, does give Symes that added utility. The trade-off here is, of course, that Symes isn't packing any other heavy-hitting SP Navi chips. So no Ground Man SP, no Tomahawk Man SP, so no T-Code SP Navis, no B-Code SP Navis. So you're not getting those same effects. You're trading a bit of that damage for a bit of utility. And on WeenieWhistle side, we see that V-Code. V-Code Gregor with the Super Falcon, White Capsule, attack plus 30, and it's an Air Shoes setup. So this is going to be Air Shoes versus Chunk Gregor. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see there. And of course, as both players are Gregor, we are seeing Kernel Force being run by both players. And it's going to be interesting to see because WeenieWhistle running this V-Code. V-Code is more about that Bubble Star Elec Dragon combo, the bubble combos in general. So a lot of damage is going to have to come from that. So if the Bubble Star combo gets blocked, WeenieWhistle's going to have to lean more into the Buster and charge shots to try to whittle Symes down. Not running any SP Navis themselves, so WeenieWhistle not having that damage there. Does have Blast Man Star and Tengu Man Star, so just the normal Navis right there, not going to do a whole lot of damage. But the Tengu Man will threaten Erase Cross, so Symes is going to have to watch out for that D-Cross potential. WeenieWhistle also running 2 Wind Racks. Both players running 2 Wind Racks, so being able to threaten each other's Erase Crosses is going to be vital here. Erase Beast is pretty lethal. And both players running 2 slow gauges. So 4 total slow gauges in this matchup means that almost certainly we're going to see a turn 1 slow gauge, maybe a turn 2 slow gauge, and then the rest of these slow gauges are going to be charged and used by the beasts. So as it is a Gregor versus Gregor matchup, expect to see a lot of charge shots, a lot of cross mind games, and playing around the cross beasts as well, using those beast chip charges to try to take your opponent down. Really high damage there. Some Coyote in Twitch chat asks, does Weenie have no tag /reg? That is correct. WeenieWhistle opted not to use any regs or tags. And so regging and tagging your chips can be both a blessing and a curse, right? So if you have a regged chip, your opponent always knows you're going to have that option available at the start. There's a little bit more uncertainty. Uncertainty if you don't have any regs or tags. So that is both uncertainty for yourself and also uncertainty for your opponent. So it can be a double-edged sword right there, double-edged blade. And that is going to be the matchup right there. And before we head into it, we did receive some donations here. So we received a $59 donation, a huge donation here from TJames95. So thanks a lot, TJames95, for supporting the stream and supporting the community. And we received $5 for a commission for Mars here. So and it came from Chocola. So thanks a lot, Chocola. And I believe that was our most recent donations.
And with that, I believe we're ready to head into the match. Thank you again, everyone, for the generous donations. So we see that WeenieWhistle is already going for an Elect cross turn 1 with a bubble into Elect Dragon. So this could do a lot of damage, but also, as we've seen in the setups, one thing WeenieWhistle needs to keep an eye out for is all of these Elementsmen, or Elementsmen, I guess, which can give a very painful decross in the case of Elementsman SP. One play that Symes could go for is trying to set up Elementsman Grass, for example, to start with, so normal Elementsman, and then bait out any defense from WeenieWhistle and potential defense. So to wait for a TFC, that's one of the mind games I really like with Elementsman, because if, for example, Elementsman does connect with the Star version, then if Symes has the upgraded SP version, he could go for the Elementsman Fire, which would still do the 2x damage, would apply flashing, but things like that can be very dynamic during the match.
Yeah, definitely Element Man, just extremely versatile. And Symes experimenting with it here, so area grab comes down for WeenieWhistle, followed by the bubble combo, which connects.
And the Erase Man missed, unfortunate from Symes. And these broken panels or cracked panels are as well going to be rough, though he does fix them with the Elementman SDX wood and gets the decross.
Ooh, WeenieWhistle managing to avoid all of the machine gun 3 shots right there. Actually, I think that was a normal machine gun 1.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, so that was one of the tag, or the only tag machine gun, or the only machine gun that Symes ran.
But yeah, WeenieWhistle connecting with a really huge combo there in that Bubble Star Elect Dragon, but Symes managing to take down the Elect Cross. It's a little bit painful for WeenieWhistle. Not going to get that same boost for the next Bubble Star combo.
Ooh, so Symes now is going into Slash Cross, which means he's going to pressure very heavily on area. Or maybe he has the Elect Sword as well, which one of the abilities for Slash Cross is you can hold A to charge Elect Sword chips, which makes them fly through the field.
Ooh, Symes taking that Blast Man off of the Holy panel there, on the Grass panel actually, so both players almost identical in HP, just 10 HP off actually. And of course Symes does have the recovery 300s in the bag, but still quite a loss here, taking 1200 HP quite quickly, while WeenieWhistle has taken about 450.
And now WeenieWhistle is also on Holy Panels, though with all of the Elementsman chips that Symes is running, these Holy Panels might not last for that long, though they are proving very useful for this turn at least.
Ooh, Judge Man not connecting for Symes here. Getting a full area lock and access to at least this one Holy Panel that will be left after the Boomer completes its rotation. Oh, but WeenieWhistle does have this this Kernel Force combo in hand. Looks like they might just go for the area return, so they're going for this grab revenge into an area grab.
Yeah, I don't think
What
we've
about that
seen
is-
the wind drag already, so WeenieWhistle might be trying to play around that. I mean the life aura, so.
Oh, wow. Symes have a very well-timed anti-damage there.
Ooh. Very nice defense. That blocked a lot of damage though. These solar panels are still going to go, but now the field is grass, so Symes could take the double damage charge as you saw there.
Ooh, and another invis at the end of turn. It looks like WeenieWhistle is looking for this wind rack into a Super Vulcan combination. It wouldn't be quite enough, I think. I don't think there was an attack plus 30 in there, but it will leave Symes very close to death.
Yeah, and I believe that WeenieWhistle can also chip charge. I think that was an area grab they took at the end to deal that last bit of damage to bring down Symes to 1 HP and maybe try to finish it with a buster shot. They can land everything.
Yeah, so we'll see whether or not Symes has some defense here. I'm not sure if Symes has used both recovery 300s yet. I do remember at least one getting used earlier.
Ooh, that life aura.
Oh,
Nice. And that chip charge as well. Symes down to very low HP, and now WeenieWhistle just needs to finish the game off, which looks like they have the tools to do it. You still have to keep in mind though, Symes always still has that Q force that could potentially just finish the game like that, so you should never try to risk it.
yeah, definitely would be smart to try to go for the quickest option to finish Symes off.
Ooh, the unfortunate DFC. Dude, books would have been enough with that extra air grab. And recovery comes down though. It looks like Symes doesn't have any way of dealing with the life aura.
Oh, and this rush is going to be pivotal here. This might let WeenieWhistle finish it off.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, and that's it. This Tengu Man will do 140 damage and finish Symes off.
Yeah, that was actually very nice from Weenie, buster shotting until Symes was below the threshold, because Symes does have undershot, which means if WeenieWhistle had matched that Tengu Man, then Symes would have been at 1 HP with flashing, which could have given Symes the opportunity to do more things after. Ooh, that Raceman missed.
Yeah, WeenieWhistle ducking down right behind this ice cube.
Ooh, that
Ooh.
double hit.
2 hits.
And the extra beehive as
Oh.
well, very nice. So that was interesting. So the way bubble works is that it follows specific movement. So sometimes if you're mid-movement, the first bubble hit will connect, but it will put you on the panel you're supposed to end at. And if you hit a bubble on an opponent that's already in the bubble status, it removes the bubble, which is what we saw there, which actually saved Symes from taking a 2x charge. Waiting for the TFC on the Invis. And now there goes that Sanctuary. We've already seen 2 of the Elements Man and the Elements Man EX, I believe, from Symes. So he still has, I think, just Elements Man SP as his only way to deal with the Sanctuary.
Yeah, and the timing on Element Man SP can be a bit tricky if you're aiming for grass. It is a lot faster than Element Man and Element Man EX.
like WeenieWhistle is debating going into Charge Cross instead, which would reduce the risk of them getting decrossed by the Elementsman SP, but then we'll lose all the advantage from the Elect Dragons, which I don't believe we've seen any of. Ooh, the double Sanctuary.
Rush comes down, and Symes is going to end up paralyzed here.
Nice.
WeenieWhistle sneaks in that 70 damage.
Ooh, very nice movement from WeenieWhistle, avoiding the attacks and landing their own, but now they have the Elementman, so they... Let's see if they go forward. Looks like they did, so both Sanctuary fields are gone now.
Oh!
That's always the risk-based machine gun. Oh, nice. Though they managed to land in a charge shot, which both did double damage and removed the full synchro from Symes.
Yeah, Symes may be getting a little bit greedy there, not just hugging that holy panel that they just put down, but trying to avoid a charge tackle entirely.
WeenieWhistle is doing very well so far on the offensive pressure. They're ahead on HP, even though Symes started with quite a bit more, and I believe we've seen at least one of the recoveries from Symes. Both sides going for charge cross. Let's see who's able to get more advantageous trade there. Looks like they're both just missing each other.
Symes not able to secure the full +1 area. That might have been an attempt to secure the area to have Kernel Force follow up for maximum damage, but now that there's that one row where Symes doesn't have the +1, that will result in a bit of a damage difference.
Weenie going into the turn with no defense at all, though it looks like there's no beast out from Symes, which makes Kernel Force quite a bit unlikely. There could still be the Elementsman SP, I don't think we've seen that. Quite breaking all of the panels, and there it was, the Elementsman SP though. Nice, Symes managed to go for the wood, which doesn't apply flashing to the opponent, which gives Symes a bit more of an opportunity to land his charge shots.
Ooh, and there's another holy panel, so... Oh, and Symes catching WeenieWhistle this time on the grass with a charge tackle. So paying WeenieWhistle back a little bit for that previous exchange.
Ooh, but this is looking like a very big turn for WeenieWhistle. They could either go for the Q-Force or they have bubble into the Elect Dragon to maybe deal with the Holy Panel. Though I mean, if they go with Q-Force, the Windrak would push Symes off the Holy Panel, so that I think would be enough for game, especially with that +30.
So very smart choice here from WeenieWhistle. Also choosing the Beast this turn to make the Kernel Force a little bit less obvious on the next turn, I suppose. And enable a little bit more.
Symes could have his own Q-Force coming up soon, but these broken panels will make it very difficult to do maximum damage. Oh no, that Gundel Soul coming in as well.
Yeah, a very clutch Gundel Soul right there, stripping the invis from WeenieWhistle and doing that extra damage.
That will take us into game 3, starting with the grass field and these cubes, so we'll see which cross that makes both of them decide to go into.
Yeah, and WeenieWhistle has this Blastman star, so potential for a 240 damage start. Pretty big here, the pretty solid usage of the Blastman.
I think the one thing WeenieWhistle should keep in mind in this position is that they want to TFC that last man, because otherwise Symes can TFC Elementsman SP, for example, and take the advantage of that grass panel.
Yeah, and if Symes has any of the Element Man series on this turn, WeenieWhistle might lose their Elect Cross right off the bat.
Looks like there was no reply, no defense or offense, just an air grab coming down.
Ooh, and it's a slow gauge turn 1. Symes looking to trade some charge shots here.
Ooh, and another miss with that Erase Man. Unfortunately for Symes, these Erase Mans kept on missing all these games. And now Symes is hiding at the very back, because you see that boulder at the end there that would block that bubble star. This is pretty unfortunate. Now WeenieWhistle, yeah, doesn't have time to connect.
Yeah, definitely WeenieWhistle getting some good charge shots in there, but not able to actually connect the Bubble Star Elect Dragon combo.
Symes going into Slash Cross, but that broken panel is going to limit his movement severely. Nice! Waiting for that charge shot and then landing that hit with the bees into Bubble Star followed by 2x charge shot. Very nicely played from WeenieWhistle so far this game. They're pushing up that advantage very heavily, especially and now going with the Boomer and Elect Dragon one. Symes is blocked into these panels. Sanctuary coming down from Symes though. Let's see if this high boomer connects. Nice. And the double hits as well. Symes was prepared with these holy panels and sanctuaries. And nice movement as well, being able to avoid most of these charge shots.
Not able to connect with the Judge Man near the end of this turn, but still the holy panels here doing a lot of work.
Yeah, and while it does seem that WeenieWhistle is in a very good position in terms of HP, don't forget that Symes still has a lot of his very big hitting chips like Elementsman SP, that Q4 Scandal Soul combo that we saw in game 1, and I believe both recoveries as well haven't been used.
Yeah, but it looks like WeenieWhistle is looking to take advantage of the slow gauge. Ooh. Or might go for this more defensive turn, seeing this HP difference and wanting to keep it.
Counter hit comes down with that machine gun. Symes being a bit greedy of the holy panels, taking that full damage hit. It does feel like Symes is trying to set up for an Elementsman play. Tetrahydra in chat is asking if you, in Twitch chat, if you wind rack a player with air shoes, do they get knocked over the broken panels? And the answer to that is yes. So because they have air shoes, then it's as if the broken panels aren't there. But if they don't have the air shoes, then obviously broken panels will stop them. Now the Holy Aura is coming down from Symes, which means that this Life Aura will have to take 400 damage for it to be removed in one hit or a wind chip. I guess there's always the timing out option, though it's always painful to have to resort to that.
This extra holy panel can add a little bit of safety for Symes' movement here. But one of the unfortunate effects of relying on this holy panel instead of the sanctuary and having the sanctuary panels in the back already removed is the fact that a kernel force combo with a wind rack would push Symes off of the sanctuary, or off of the holy panels, I mean.
Yeah, it looks like that is the play WeenieWhistle's going for, starting, I believe that was Tengu Man to deal with the life orb, but also paralyzed, which wouldn't give Symes enough time to react to that Q force coming. This could be enough for game if Symes doesn't have any more defense. One area grab though, would that be enough to deny that win for WeenieWhistle? Looks like barely was. And they accidentally used that slow gauge instead of completing that chip chart. Symes very low HP. The Elementsman SP is going to connect. Nice, it does with the ice as well. So Symes will have time to land in a charge shot for 2x damage, bringing down WeenieWhistle's HP to very to much lower amounts. But is he going to survive? That's game.
Yeah, well played to WeenieWhistle there. Symes actually making it to the end of that turn might have been a really big problem there, because I think Symes had his own kernel force combo that was probably going to come out that next turn. So that was probably the difference between life or death right there. WeenieWhistle landed a ton of damage, some really good combos there, and honestly just played very well. But just being able to close out that match at that moment was probably, I mean, that probably would have been game in the other direction if not for that.
Yeah, Symes was able to land in quite a bit of damage at the end there, even though he was around 50 HP for most of that turn. So that was actually very close at the end.
Yeah, definitely well played to both WeenieWhistle and Symes there. And yeah, a very interesting matchup there. We saw WeenieWhistle overcoming that 700 HP difference plus the 300 HP from each recovery 300. So a total of 1,300 HP difference, I believe. And so yeah, just well played to WeenieWhistle and Symes.
All right, and with that, let's head into the setups for our next match with fireboltbro vs lizardlab.
Yeah, so we have seen fireboltbro's B-code here in Gregar before, and it is another Gregar versus Gregar mirror matchup. So the interesting things about fireboltbro's setup is the fact that there's no slow gauge does make it a little bit strange. Usually with a Chonk Gregar setup, you want to have slow gauge in there to just be able to brute force your opponent down with your crosses. And if your opponent doesn't have the answer to the cross you chose that turn, that just gives you free reign for that, at least that one slow gauge turn, to just line up with your opponent and smash them down with those heavy hitting charge shots. But no gauges on either side actually for this matchup. So no slow gauge, no fast gauge, no full cust. So this is just going to be played as a normal gauge matchup. And it is, as I mentioned, Gregar versus Gregar. lizardlab on the other side having attack 5, charge max. So yeah, just the maxed buster stats there. 1400 HP, which you don't see too often in Gregar. And it's a bit of an interesting setup because it's got Tango as well and float shoes. So a lot of interesting Navicust parts here. Float shoes, of course, very useful for avoiding the sliding effect of ice, avoiding poison damage from poison panels, and then avoiding turning cracked panels into broken panels. So And then, of course, Tango does give you that extra shield, extra barrier, and the recovery. So, and in Lizard Lab's folder, we see this J code. This is a Dest Pulse setup with 3 Elect Pulse 2s, 1 Elect Pulse 1, and 1 Elect Pulse 3, which I think is probably a good setup for in terms of the pulse distribution, because definitely Elect Pulse 2 and Elect Pulse 1, I think, has more utility, more value than the Elect Pulse 3. Even though the Elect Pulse 3 does a little bit more damage, the fact that it leaves your opponent flashing for that period of time, not ideal. And also it has some more end lag than the other, well, significantly more end lag actually than Elect Pulse 2, and then doesn't have the paralysis of Elect Pulse 1. So I think I definitely agree with the distribution of pulses.
Yeah, the one interesting thing to keep in mind, I guess, is that with Elect Pulse 1, the chip end lag, which means the time you're stuck in the animation, basically, is long enough where your opponent can mash out of the paralysis and use a chip or do a movement before you can use your next chip. So trying to use something like Elect Pulse 1 into Destroy Pulse isn't usually ideal. You would want to use Elect Pulse 2, which, as you mentioned, is very fast, or the Windrak as well, which can combo very well with the Destroy Pulse.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. And we do see as well Justice 1 being in J-code. Lizard Lab has picked that up as well. So Justice 1 just very useful in general for, obviously it cracks off the panels, it does a very hefty hit on the center panel, but it also will easily pop your opponent's anti-damage if you're looking for that, as long as they're on their side of the field. So very useful chip for that purpose. And 2 Recovery 300s also in J-code. So and so yeah, unless you have anything else to comment on, I think that's all I have to talk about these setups.
Alright, well, with that, let's head into the match and see how it plays out. Okay, so we can see the starting hand from fireboltbro. I mean, one thing to keep in mind for this matchup is that both players are using quite high area grab numbers. So fireboltbro using 5 and 2 grab banishes, whereas lizardlab is using 4 and the double judgment. So the area battle is going to be very interesting here.
Turn 1 Life Aura from Lizard Lab. It is going to shut down this early Machine Gun 3.
Yeah, though thanks to that area grab, there is no position that allows a confirmed charge off connection for Lizard Lab.
Ooh, and Windrak will be a good answer for this Life Aura, as long as it doesn't get 3-framed. Shamarky Simon in YouTube chat asks, float shoes versus air shoes, which would you prefer to wear? Definitely each of them have their own applications, they have their own uses. And float shoes is actually better than air shoes in specific situations. So it's really dependent on what you're up against.
Yeah, I mean, air shoes can have very big advantage against Geddon, for example, or if you want to run Geddon. Where float shoes basically still get stuck there. But float shoes still has pretty good advantage against most of the panel breaking or cracking attacks that like Dragons, Grandman, Elements Man, all of these or most of these do some cracking as well. So with good movement or being careful at least, float shoes could be more than enough.
When you see this Windrak come out, it does take down the Life Aura. Both players setting up a lot of defenses here.
Lizardlab unfortunately loses both the anti-damage and invis since Erase Cross Charge Shot does pierce invis.
Yeah, and both players losing their anti-damage as a result of that trade.
Ooh, looks like fireboltbro is debating taking one of the PA pieces, so I guess I don't remember which one we're going to be missing out on, but that's one of them. And going into slash cross, trying to capitalize basically on the area, and also if they end up losing the area to a Judgman or other area grabs coming down from lizardlab, then fireboltbro would be able to chip charge that, I believe it was a white blade, which will allow it to go through the field and basically confirm connection.
Ooh, and there's a Justice one.
That was very close, barely avoiding being decrossed and taking 400 damage for fireboltbro. But now they stepped back, so unfortunately they will be stuck with these broken panels, so there wasn't quite enough time for lizardlab to take that much advantage out of that turn.
Yeah, very interesting choice, stepping back through the cracked panels. Because now you don't have the vertical movement, you don't have this up and down movement available to you. And that does let lizardlab connect with this Judgman SP. Luckily, the books aren't able to travel over the broken panels, but lizardlab does get their area back.
Very nice, and we see that chip charge there and that counter hit from that machine gun.
Yeah, lizardlab tried to use a wind rack point blank to push fireboltbro back, but unfortunately that was interrupted by that machine gun.
Yeah, I believe we saw a number of times in the previous match as well with WeenieWhistle vs Symes, where machine gun can be a very good chip to fish for a counter hit, basically.
Ooh, fireboltbro does get the area back with this Judgman, but does not get the paralysis. Oh, and now fireboltbro does get the area lock that they're looking for. It is +1 area for the slash cross.
Q-Force does come out, though that will be very limited in terms of damage.
Yeah, and fireboltbro wanting to answer back with their own kernel force.
Actually, one interesting play fireboltbro could have done there is not going into beast out, just taking that Q-Force, since they have quite a bit of plus area, and I believe that would be close enough to being enough damage.
With this much area, I do believe the kernel force would do 360 damage.
Ooh, just
that's
down.
awesome.
Turn Raceman. Does lizardlab have any more defense though? Oh, looks like they don't. That kernel force does connect into a game. Now we're heading into game 2, and we see already 2 pieces of one of the PAs and life on hand, though looks like fireboltbro deciding to go a different way, taking the Invis to start with in this ice and cube field.
Both players using their defense this turn, Invis and anti-damage from fireboltbro, and life aura from lizardlab. But fireboltbro does not have the ability to take down this life aura this turn.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if fireboltbro meant to go for that wood element, because I don't think they have any other fire chips to take advantage of that to remove the life aura, for example.
Yeah, that's true.
In that position, they could have tried to go for dialect maybe and breaks or crack place some of these panels to try to limit the movement for lizardlab. But there is that wind rack, and it looks like it does go through. Ooh, and another counter hit from a machine gun.
lizardlab reclaiming their front area, but ooh, Blastman Star does do double damage on grass and remove the grass, so fireboltbro takes 240 from that.
HonorNite does bring up a good point in Twitch chat, saying that going for wood there removes the ice panels, which allows fireboltbro to more freely move around the field, which is a good point. It looks like both sides are taking their air grabs this turn, so one thing to keep in mind is that fireboltbro might end up trying to use these air grabs to land one of the, or multiple of the elec pulses, since especially with Electros they gain a plus 50 boost, which does really add up if you have multiple of them. Ooh, very nice, and taking that immediate twin drag as well to deal with that life aura.
Yeah, lizardlab and fireboltbro just trading charge shots here, but it isn't necessarily a great situation for lizardlab, seeing as how they have significantly less HP. They do still have their tango and recovery 300s, while fireboltbro does not have any recoveries.
Ooh, and looks like fireboltbro is going for that double hero, I believe. And one thing to keep in mind with tango is that it doesn't activate if you are in paralysis or you don't have control of your character when you reach the HP threshold. It looks like that will happen this game.
Wow, so double hero does close that out.
Ooh,
And
nice.
that is the set going to fireboltbro with a double hero finish. So
Yeah, that's actually one of the pretty rare situations, I'd say, where using the PA was quite a bit better than the individual chips. Because if, for example, fireboltbro used the the Protoman or any of the sword chips, then they would have put lizardlab into the tango threshold, which could have very much changed the match.
yeah, and you don't see a double hero finish every day,
Yeah.
so pretty rare. So well played to fireboltbro and lizardlab, and a very nice finish there with that double hero.
All right, with that, let's head into our next match with DrugsAreBad vs Desmond.
Yeah, so Dab on the left here and Desmond on the right. It is Falzar versus Gregar, and we have seen both these setups before, I believe. So it is the I believe this is the freeze break combo from Dab versus Desmond's V code. So not sure there's too much to talk about in this specific matchup. Freeze break can be extremely lethal for a Gregar player who isn't wary of it, especially if you get caught in a slash cross. You're going to take, I believe, 750 damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that freeze break becomes 500, and I believe the D cross, the ×2 from the slash cross, doesn't multiply again, but it's an additional 250. So 750 just from the golem hit alone after the freeze applies. And you have to keep in mind that Gregar does not have status guard the way Falzar does through Tomahawk cross. So Gregar does not really have a solid answer to freeze break combos like that. So it is a bit more dangerous there.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's one really big thing to look out for is basically the cross matchup between them. So DrugsAreBad would ideally want to go into Spout Cross for the Aqua Dragon ×2 or Tengu Cross to pull the opponent into that Golem hit. But looking at the other side, so Desmond has these Elect Dragon bubble combos which deny DrugsAreBad's Spout Cross, and Desmond also has Tomahawk SP which could deny the Tengu Cross. So there is this basically going to be mind games starting from even before the match begins when they decide which chips they want to take and how they want to play their turns.
Yeah, definitely, like you said, the cross mind game is going to be very important here. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top and what their approach is going to be. So I think with that, we can head into the set.
All right, let's see how it plays out. So we are starting with a cube field, which could actually be very interesting for Dab if they decide to go into Dust Cross at the start. Because so one of the abilities of Dust Cross is that they can take in objects with a B-back input and fire them as 200 damage breaking projectiles basically, which would go very well with the Ice Seed and Aqua Dragon for the freeze.
Yeah, and Desmond only has Erase Man in terms of their cursor chips, so there isn't too much risk there of losing that Dust Cross before you can get value out of it. But yeah, like you mentioned, Desmond does have those Bubble Star Electragging combos to watch out for. And Dab is going to have to think about whether or not to go into Tomahawk Cross at any point to try to stop those, or whether or not they just want to top them out.
So it looks like Dab is playing it a bit safer and just going for a simple turn, taking that Hitman SP, maybe trying to get some extra damage there. Oh, that was an erasement, sorry. I guess that is one way to land these cubes, so this will confirm one of the cubes as well.
Ooh, and this is a slow gauge turn thanks to Desmond, who lands one of these Bubble Star Electragging combos, but not with the Elect Cross boost. Dab not playing it slow there, not trying to use charge shots to hit Desmond there, just firing off that other cube and unfortunately not connecting with it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to keep in mind, unfortunately with online conditions, sometimes connection between two players can be a bit rough, and I believe that was so in this matchup. I think their connection was around 50-60%, which obviously isn't ideal for trying to time stuff like this.
Yeah, we are an international community, so depending on your location, your connection is going to be different for each matchup. And here, Desmond area grabs forward here.
Ooh, the unfortunate miss.
Oh no.
Yeah, now Desmond is able to get that very high damaging D-Cross, so DrugsAreBad does still have recovery in hand, just waiting a bit more for using it.
Oh, then a very nice sidestep from Dab, watching out for that erase man, but does get hit by this Tomahawk SP. So there was no Tengu Man SP on that same turn, so Dab will still have to watch out for that.
And now Dab has a few things to keep in mind. They could try to go for a Spout Cross turn, maybe go for these Aqua Dragons. Maybe the other option is to go for Tomahawk, trying to avoid a potential Q-Force coming out, or bubble into a Leg Dragon combo. Or Super Vulcan, because, I mean, Desmond is in Beast out.
Ooh.
Oh, unfortunate missing that. Ooh, nice.
Oh, very nice sidestep there.
Looks like the second one will get blocked by the Life Aura. And there was still a third one though. Dab's HP is getting really down there, but we do see that freeze break combo, and looks like they are going into Tingle Cross, so they are probably looking for a D Cross as well, or maybe it's another way to confirm pulling the opponent into the break. I think there is some value in going in Spout Cross, since the Spout chip heal can be really nice in trying to get the maximum potential out of the undershirt. Ooh. Let's see if the one drop does connect. Very nice. Q-Force is coming out though. Haha.
Yeah, unfortunately, Dab not able to get the combo out before the Q-Force comes.
Now that will take us into game 2, but this time we have the grass field. So let's see if Desmond is tempted and goes into charge cross.
Yeah, charge cross and heat cross would be, they would get the double damage with their charge shots here, but you have to keep in mind that Dab does have those Aqua Dragons, so it's a bit of a risk, and I'm not sure if Desmond will end up taking it.
Yeah, and one interesting thing we could see there is the Ice Seed actually getting the D-cross if Desmond ends up stepping under it.
Oh geez, but Dab taking... Oh, wow. And sidestepping that Erase Man as well. Dab pulling off a full combo right there. I think that was a Wind Rack into the Lance, into the Aqua Dragon.
Finishing off with that Golem hit. Yeah, that was really big combo as well. Doing, I think that was almost 1000 HP in one turn.
Yeah, and I was just about to say that Dab actually took those 2 charge tackles on grass, so actually took a lot of damage for basically for free there, but just immediately a huge swing back.
Ooh, and now Dab is going into Elecross. Nice, looks like the Judgment SP will connect. I don't think they have enough time for a charge shot. It looks like they are just going for the wood for the D-cross. Nice, and they can connect as well. Machine gun could be just game right there. Ooh, nice. The very quick finish.
Yeah, Dab definitely demonstrating what happens when you get caught out by a freeze break combo very early there. And then also just playing those the cross mind game a bit and getting the edge there as well.
So now going into game 3 with the ice field, this could potentially be very nice for Dab, but let's see what Desmond decides to go for. So Desmond might try to go for the counter mind plays basically, and going for the opposite cross that they expect DrugsAreBad to go for. So we might see Ella cross, we might end up seeing even a fire cross if Desmond ends up trying to read into it too far. And looks like that did happen. But, so DrugsAreBad doesn't quite have the punish for the play from Desmond. Unfortunately missing both Qs, and looks like this will allow a charge shot to connect. Judgment connecting at the very end of turn, very nice.
Ooh, and yeah, and Dab sneaking in those little P shots there, each one doing 2 damage with that attack +1. So it seems trivial, but every little bit of HP might matter in the end.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen plenty of matches where it came down to like 5 HP or something, so you never know. Looks like Dab is considering taking slightly more conservative turn, taking just the recovery and that Lance. Lance could be very nice in connecting because of these ice panels, so Desmond would basically be forced to go back to try to realign. Oh, interesting, going to Beast out though. Ooh, fire burns coming out. And Super Vulcan, that's going to be very painful.
I don't believe that was a boosted Super Vulcan though, so I think that was just the 500 damage Super Vulcan.
And with that 500 damage, that brings them within about 105 HP difference. So, ooh, but looking at this hand, this can be very strong for Dab though. And looks like that is the order to go for.
Still no Aqua Dragons, unfortunately. Otherwise, there would be potential for this this freeze break combo setup.
Ooh, oh, nice. Desmond wasn't able to move out of it.
Ooh. So Dab does end up frozen, but Desmond will end up paralyzed at the same time.
Ooh, balls start coming down into the Elect Dragon, dealing 3x damage. Ooh, counter hit with that golem hit.
And a very interesting interaction earlier that turn. Dab actually stepped up onto the ice panel, which meant that the bubble star froze him instead of bubbling them, and that actually made the difference. I think Dab might actually have been at 1 HP. It might have been facing deletion that turn if they were bubbled into that Elect Dragon combo.
Ooh, I did not stand another counter hit. I didn't actually see what that counter hit. I think that was a wind rack. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not 100% either, but the air shoes instead of float shoes on Desmond, you can see, sometimes float shoes is actually better than air shoes. Not able to center themselves and get this damage and threaten Dab on this turn. Ooh, and Dab does have Tengu Cross left to remove the life aura, so if Desmond can't take down this anti-damage and finish Dab off in time, that will be the end.
Yeah, but keep in mind, we still haven't seen that Q-Force, I don't believe, so that could still be very close, especially with the very small amount of HP that Dab has. Ooh, starting with defense. Oh, nice.
Ooh. Yeah, very well played to both DrugsAreBad and Desmond.
Yeah, the ending there was very scary. If that bubble had connected, then who knows what Desmond could have followed up with.
Yeah, you have to keep in mind that Desmond also has those T-code SP navies, so a Tomahawk Man SP could have left Dab with 1 HP and also still vulnerable to a P-shot to finish it off. So all sorts of combos could have happened right there. But yeah, well played to both players there.
Yeah, these these counter hits were crazy. I actually wasn't able to quite follow what happened, so I'm looking forward to see the clips afterwards from this stream. All right, and with that, let's head into our final match for the day with HonorNite vs Neryth.
So I believe we have seen both setups already today. We have the G code coming up from HonorNite with a little bit of W code, and it is a Falzar versus Falzar mirror matchup. And then we see the W code coming out from Neryth with this Gundel Soul 3s and Geddons, and as well as the wood chips in W. And basically no defense other than a life aura, so extremely vulnerable to D-crosses and extremely vulnerable to combo setups, essentially. While HonorNite is running a full 3 invis, 3 anti-damage, barrier 200, life aura, and sanctuary. So just a full complement, just the complete package of defense here. And both players have the same setup in terms of Navicust. So 1400 HP, attack 4 setup, both players running Meteor Knuckle, both players having Element Man SP as a splash option, but HonorNite also packing this Ground Man SP, so because it obviously is in code with G, so a lot of potential damage coming up from their 130 times 3, and that is 390 damage, so that's actually just a massive amount of damage, even if your opponent isn't in Slash Cross. I mean, if they were in Slash Cross, that'd be 780, so just a really big threat coming from that. And it is a double fast gauge versus double slow gauge setup, so this is pretty interesting. So there will be the mind game in terms of, who wants to play out the gauge in normal gauge, who wants to throw out their gauge first.
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, fast gauge isn't that bad for you. You have a lot of very hard-hitting chips, and although the Gundel Souls would be very much limited, you can still take good advantage out of fast gauge as well.
Yeah, the interesting part of W code is also that because it has Bamboo Sword and Mega Boomers and such, those chips do not leave your opponent flashing when they hit, so they can do multi-hits, and there's nothing stopping you from rapidly chaining those chips together. So definitely fast gauge is not that bad for W code either. Although I am running the slow gauges because part of the strategy here is that if my opponent does have air shoes or they're making use of Balzar, Beast Out, or Tengu Cross, is that with those 2 panel grabs and my 4 area grabs, I could potentially get the field into a shape where they can't really avoid the Tengu Beast Charge or maybe the Tomahawk Beast Charge, right? And so that would be a good way to convert Gundel Soul 3 into a good amount of damage, even if your opponent has air shoes. And so that's an alternative to running uninstall and trying to uninstall your opponent's air shoes, which doesn't work against the Falzar Cross and Beast. So
yeah, though to be honest, I am a bit disappointed that both sides running Meteor Knuckles, but no Neo variable at all. Ooh.
Yeah, definitely. Neo variable is a really solid chip to pack alongside your Meteor Knuckle. And especially in Falzar, because it's easy to get that Cust 8, or and then once you have both chips in hand, you have that double threat. It also gives you that extra threat against Tengu Cross. So it's true that I'm not running Neo variable in there, and maybe I could fit it in the future. But if you look at my folder. I'm already running no defense, so it's going to be hard to figure out what I'm going to drop in order to put it in.
I mean, yeah, that is fair. Though the anti-recovery, I don't think you're willing to part with the anti-recovery. It's basically a Neryth staple at this point. Yeah,
really one of the things that keeps the anti-recovery useful in all cases is the fact that it is a null type chip, so you could always beast charge it even if your opponent isn't running any recoveries.
Which is probably going to happen this match.
That is true. And I think with that we can head into the match.
We already see that Reg grab Revenge, Judge Man, and 2 area grabs. So one thing to keep in mind is that both sides running a lot of area grabs, a lot of ways to control area basically. So there will always be that balance and basically another battle between them that will go on.
Yeah, and we also see that Wood Dragon, Heat Dragon combo right off the bat here. I think this first turn I actually meant to go into Dust Cross, but unfortunately I did not end up doing that.
Dust Cross is an interesting play to go for. I guess you had the life aura, so you were prepared for any magnums, but looks like that Wood Dragon removes that very quickly. And that Groundman is going to be met with no defense, unfortunately, so that's one of the main things HonorNite has basically peace of mind for. He can use most, if not every chip, without really worrying about defense.
Yeah, and that Heat Dragon was used a little bit early, but the Wood Dragon actually did do a double hit there, removing the life aura and getting a hit as well. And then the Groundman SP connected as well, so I've quickly lost about half my HP.
And looks like HonorNite does have a pretty defensive 10, and they are considering going into area grab, maybe trying to pressure with chip charges, especially seeing these 2 broken panels. They are considering the defense. Looks like they are spreading it a bit, maybe giving them the option to either chip charge or use it as TFC. The unfortunate getting coming out though. Neryth might still have these summon blacks, which could gains some benefits. Oh, nice! Using the lockout during the animation where HonorNite wasn't able to move to land in the extra charge shot, which I believe this is the first time I actually see that happen. Now it's using that some black will bring HonorNite's HP down by quite a bit actually. They started with the same HP, so HonorNite does have a bit of a lead.
Yeah, HonorNite pulling this this unregged full cast now though, so this would be a bit of a waste on this turn because they're actually using the Falzar Beast to get those air shoes, and they don't want to drop that too early.
Oh yeah, so one interesting thing we could see in this matchup is that if you have air shoes, so in this example in Beast Out, and you lose the air shoes while you're still standing on a hole, then you would be able to move between these broken panels until you step on a fixed panel. So these panels, I guess, are being repaired, but in theory, HonorNite could have done something like that if needed. Ooh, unfortunate, both sides missing quite a bit of attacks. And that full cast going through, which will also waste one turn of Neryth's Beast Out, which can be very vital for this matchup, as was explained during setups.
And very interesting here, HonorNite pulled their uninstall on G-code, but it actually doesn't have anything to use it with this turn, so they're going to have to use up some of their chips and then hope they pull something else next turn. I think they still have a Wood Dragon available to them in their folder.
One thing to keep in mind actually is that Neryth is in Tengu Beast Out, so these are two of the options that Neryth would have to get for air shoes. So Neryth ideally would want to use the Geddon or try to avoid these broken panels as much as possible. Whereas HonorNite still could have Dust Cross for the late game breaking panels, I believe. Ooh, nice movement, avoiding that chip charge for free basically. Ooh, using the invis a bit early, I believe, from HonorNite. Actually, do you want to explain how the invis and barrier interaction works?
Yeah, so the way invis and barrier ends up working out is that when you're in an invis state and you have a barrier up, you will actually take multiple instances of damage from certain attacks. And so your barrier 200, in this case, HonorNite's barrier 200, actually got burned more quickly from the Faldar feathers as a result of the invis. So it basically counted it as taking multiple hits. So the HP of the barrier 200 was actually dropped more rapidly.
Yeah, I believe Feather Busters and normal Buster shots count for double damage, so that was like being against Buster 8, which we saw how quickly that was able to remove the barrier. Looks like HonorNite is debating, they want to go into Tengu maybe to try to play around that Geddon, but they don't really have any way of confirming charge shots, so let's see how this turn ends up going out. And keep in mind that Neryth still has the Wood Sword, so... and nice, that was a good read on that Geddon. Nice TFC that will save the defense and keep the life aura as well. And now we know that Neryth is going in W code, which is why HonorNite is doing that movement exactly to avoid that wood sword.
Yeah, that ×2 bamboo sword unfortunately does not connect to remove the life aura. Instead, there's a little bit of collision damage.
Now both Tomahawk and Tengu crosses are gone from Neryth, so these are pretty vital crosses for your build, especially with all of the chips that you could potentially use. actually, I believe you don't have any wind drags.
Yeah, so this is actually going to be a situation where I have to use this Element Man SP to remove the life aura.
That is very unfortunate. That could have been quite a bit of nice damage as well. HonorNite going for that nice break and then cracking these panels. I mean, playing it patient, using that defense at the end of turn, setting up for next turn. There is still Meteor Knuckles, but unfortunately, even with the maximum number of hits, it doesn't quite do all of HonorNite's HP, so this can be pretty difficult position for Neryth to try to go back from.
Yeah, definitely a 932 HP difference here is going to be pretty rough.
Ooh, and HonorNite has his own Meteor Knuckles, which again, against Neryth, who has no defense, that could basically finish up the game very quickly. Ooh, Magnum coming out the TFC with Meteor Knuckles, and that was enough for game. That takes us into game 2. So that was actually a very interesting, very methodical game 1. Seeing both sides trying to play around the other person, HonorNite going into Tengu and Beast out very early, and then playing around Geddon.
Yeah, so Bitmuffin in Twitch chat says, I was expecting Beast over. And actually, Beast over was definitely on the table, but the problem was that there wasn't a way for me to do enough damage within one turn of Beast over, and then immediately on the next turn to actually turn the game around. So I needed to survive one more turn and land a little bit of damage there in order for that to be a viable option. So, and this is a grass field of double guardians, so we are going to have a contest here to see who gets to suck up on this.
Oh no, looks like the erasement from HonorNite with the TFC is going through, and looks like HonorNite will take in these guardians and probably fire one of them. Ooh, nice. So, okay, so looks like the retaliation decross from Neryth, which denies the cubes from coming out. Ooh, these chargers bringing them down to 10 HP difference, and now HonorNite might be tempted to go into Tengu Cross or Beast Out. I think Beast Out might be the slightly more likely option because HonorNite doesn't have any defense in hand, which could make a decross very, very painful. But HonorNite might also be able to get a decross on Neryth if Neryth decides to go with Tomahawk Cross, especially since the area allows for it, and that Bamboo Sword potential could be very nice.
Yeah, definitely either a Bamboo Sword or a Summon Black 3 would be a very good option here. But there isn't really a way to guarantee the right position for Summon Black 3 to land, especially if HonorNite camps the front.
Double Tengu Cross it looks like, so we might be seeing Geddon coming down this turn. Ooh, Alrysc might come down, that will do 2x damage, but unfortunately this will mean that Grandpa Revenge will go through, dealing quite a bit of damage and returning the area for HonorNite. Oh, that was a bit too early, yeah. Oh no, the air grab being denied. Ooh, the Meteor Knuckles. Ooh, that was a good number of hits. Ooh, very nice being able to land that charge up for some extra free damage, and now HonorNite is basically going to want to stay on these holy panels to try to minimize the damage as much as possible. So that position can be basically a trap for HonorNite, since that is a very good position for these boomers that Neryth is running to connect with. And only a single anti-damage, so we might see a summon black even coming out from Neryth. Oh, and there goes that boomer. Let's see if HonorNite is able to step away from it using defense just in case, because boomer can sometimes land multiple hits. Ooh, one of them does go through, and oh, nice. So gets a decross on Neryth, but then Neryth retaliates with his own summon black, which will bring down HonorNite for 1 HP. Never mind, we are in slow gauge now, so it's going to be very difficult for HonorNite to live through, and the chip charge finishes off. This takes us into a game 2 with these conveyor fields, so this can be very interesting in seeing how they decide to use their area grabs. Though it looks like HonorNite is going for Grandman SP, which might break these conveyor panels, which would limit the interesting interactions they have. Area grab exchange. Oh, no TFC for the Elements Man. Probably HonorNite would try to use Elements Man freeze and then try to get the extra damage with the Ground Man. Or never mind. It was I completely forgot about beats there. That was very patient play.
I think HonorNite was planning to throw the Element Man to beat, and is now going for this Invis anger play with Ground Man.
And no defense means that does connect, dealing massive damage. But now HonorNite is locked in place, which means we'll probably see Beast Out or Dingo Cross coming out next turn.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, that ×2 Groundman SP, that is 780 damage. So more than half my HP right at the start.
Yep, that's what sometimes happens if you run no defense, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was no way to prevent that damage.
I mean, you say that, but now that I look at you...
There was nothing I could have done. Unfortunately, that was just unavoidable.
Yeah.
So, Valley Soki in Twitch chat asked, what needs to happen to be put into rage mode?
Do you want to go for it?
Yeah, so in order to get anger status, you have to either take a certain amount of damage within a short time frame, or you need to be statused for a certain period of time. And so I forget the exact damage or paralysis thresholds. DrugsAreBad in Twitch chat says paralysis, I think 1200 frames or 300 damage all at once, but I think so. Not 100% sure. Mars says 121 plus frames of paralysis. Yeah, okay, so 1200 frames would be 20 seconds. Yeah, so 121 or 120 frames, HonorNite says, or 300 damage. So yeah, any of those hitting you will result in anger status as long as you are in base Mega Man.
Yeah, there is actually a third one that we almost never see, is being hit consecutively by flinching attacks. So something like Bodyguard or Super Vulcan, if you don't have super armor, can give anger.
So both players here down to about 300, 400 HP.
Ooh, that was unfortunate TFC from HonorNite. Oh, but that nice, very nice TFC. Ooh, though there is the Judgment follow-up. Let's see what Neryth has. There is Wood Dragon, which is being chip charged, and does connect with a counter hit into a Hate Dragon, bringing Neryth down to 1 HP, and that will finish off that game.
Yeah, well played to HonorNite there. Just some really solid play all around, and yeah. It was pretty difficult to play around HonorNite's usage of Tengu and Falzar Beast to get those air shoes for those turns that they needed. So I was expecting some pretty solid play from HonorNite, but also I just didn't get some of the pulls I needed. There were turns, so I feel that because HonorNite doesn't have that regged full cast, there was some potential to do like a turn 1 Geddon Gundel Soul or just Geddon Cheese. And in the end, the chip draws I had for my turn 1s and turn 2s just weren't conducive to getting an early Geddon play and getting early Gundel Soul plays. So unfortunately, I never managed to pull any of those off. And HonorNite didn't actually, I think for at least 1 or 2 of those matches, did not actually go into a very early air shoes. So even though there was the potential, I just ended up missing it.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in that game 3, we saw there with HonorNite being able to land in that Groundman SP, which, I mean, being realistic, if you had a Geddon turn 1, then that Groundman SP would have been blocked by that Geddon. So Geddon is overall a very solid chip. So being able to get that early and being able to solidify at least a full turn with it in play can very much flip a matchup, basically.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, again, GG, well played to HonorNite.
Yeah, so that was unfortunately the final match for the stream. So just as a quick reminder, this was the second round robin stage stream, which means that starting from next week, we will be going into the top cut bracket for Blood Moon. So as you can see on screen now, these are the current standings for the round robin stage. So obviously the round robin stage is still going on. So there is the potential for more matches to be played. Today, I think until 10 p.m. PST. I don't remember the exact timing. But yeah, so there is still that potential of matches to be played and these arrangements to be changed. But that's how we might end up looking into the top cut stage, which I believe will be a top 8. Though again, we are still finalizing a few things in terms of the tournament organization, so a few things might change around. So keep an eye out for any announcement coming up. And with that, I do want to give a shout out to all of the very generous donations that we've received today on stream and between last stream. So starting us off today was Wazi donating $5 and then followed up by TJames95 for the very generous $59 and then Chocola giving a commission for Mars to for $5 as well. And just to briefly explain what is our Ko-Fi and how everything works. So basically, the Ko-Fi page is a way to support the N1GP and the events that we're running. And every donation will go into improving our setups or helping basically organizing things. And we also recently opened up the commissions feature, which basically allows you to donate or give a tip to some specific members of the backend, which can come in with extra incentives. So, for example, you can pay $3 for Enduring Grade to as a tip, but then do an add-on for $5 for your own double vote, which Enduring Grade does do for all of our streams. There's also helping Mars develop BBN3, which is basically going to revolutionize all of the Battle Network PvP with a lot of work going into it as well. And then finally there's playerzero, which I'm helping running the stream and managing a few things in the backend. But that will conclude today's stream. Again, make sure to join Discord if you haven't already, and keep an eye out for the potential announcements coming up throughout the next week for the Top Cut bracket, which will decide the new or maybe continuing Moon Master. And again, before ending the stream, I do want to give a shout out to all of the people involved in the production and helping running these streams smoothly. So thank you for Salad for running the event and doing the stream layout, HonorNite for helping with stream production and preparation, and obviously for Neryth and Symes for joining me on commentary today. And finally, thank you to everyone for watching. That's basically the community. It's the community made by everyone here who's watching, who's playing matches, and being part of all of it. So thank you for watching, and hope you've enjoyed the stream, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.